Alright guys, today I'm going to talk about why I settled for small locks. This is actually my second set of locks. I started my first set almost 2 years ago, and I combed them out earlier this year, and now I'm just starting my second set. I combed them out maybe February, and I put in my second set in May. So not even a whole year went by without me, not even 6 months went by without me not having locks when I decided to lock again. Now, my hair type before I started to lock my hair, when I was a loose natural and when I had an afro, was primarily 4C. We all know that there are different types of hair types, even in specific parts of your head. I have one hair type right here, a different hair type here, a different hair type here, and back here, a different hair type. So primarily 4C. I know people don't like to there are some people who don't like to identify with hair types, but at the same time, I'm also a person who watches YouTube videos frequently, and I know that I like to watch people who have similar hair types. If we don't have the same hair type, I want to watch somebody that has 4C versus 3C or 3A, because that's not my hair type. Regardless, everyone's hair is different, even if you have the same hair type, that which is the reason why people don't like to go by them. But at the same time, I want to try things that other people who have the same hair type as me have tried, and if it works for me, great. If it doesn't, fine. But anyway, I have 4C hair, which is very kinky hair. My hair could be any length and it will always shrink back up to my ears. So that's just how my hair has always been. However, my hair is not, I don't have thick hair. I have fine hair. So I have 4C fine hair. My hairline has never been, my hair is not thick at all, but my hairline especially has never been thick. And especially because of the trick, which I discussed in another video, my hairline is not thick. Okay, so my first set of locks, I had thick locks. I've always loved thick locks. I think they are beautiful. Not that I didn't like small locks or thin. I don't want to say thin locks, because my locks aren't necessarily thin. They're just small in size. But I've always admired thicker locks. However, I have found out that if you do not have thick hair to begin with, you may not have thick locks. And the thing with locks is you don't know how thick they're going to be or how mature, when they are mature, how they're going to look until it happens. That's just a part of the journey. That's a part of the patience. That's just something that we all have to go through. So I started my locks with, I had about 68 to 70 locks. Okay, I started that set of locks with lock extensions. At that time, I was not aware of how your locks change, expand, and grow as they mature. In fact, I was not at all trying to start locks. I just wanted lock extensions, but I used human hair. Jesus, excuse me. I used human hair because I've used synthetic hair with locks before, but I wasn't able to color it. I wasn't able to curl them without dipping my head into hot water and dipping synthetic hair into hot water with boiling hot water with my hair underneath. It's just not something I wanted to do. If you guys do it, fine, but that's not me. So I went on ahead and got the human hair locks. I ended up Jesus! I ended up loving the locks and kept them in for 2 years. I washed them. I did apple cider vinegar rinses on them. I did everything that anybody with locks would do. What nobody told me about getting lock extensions and wanting to prospectively have them as permanent as to check parting sizes, to take into consideration your hair type, your loose natural hair type, and also do research on what you really want and what's in the long run gonna be good for your hair, because I just threw these in, no parts, no particular specific parting. I didn't want that. I didn't care how many locks I had. I just wanted them in. As time went on, my hair grew out and my hair was locked. So let's say I had a lock extension that I probably maybe started them, they were like ending here. I would have, my hair would be at the top and it would be big and puff, and then I would have the lock extension. I'll try to insert a picture if I can find one. So the reason why I say I settled for smaller locks is because my hair was really, really spacey when I had thicker locks. Even though thick locks, the thicker the parting, the thicker the lock. However, if your hair is not thick to begin with, the shed hair that fills up your lock as your lock matures, it's not going to fill up that much as you want it. My hair was looking very scalpy. It did not look full when my hair was straight down or when I did a retwist. It did not look full. The lock extensions themselves look full, but as my hair started to grow out and lock on its own, it did not look full. It was not full at all. And once I started noticing, I knew that if and eventually when I cut the lock extensions off, that I would not that I would not like my hair, but that's just not what I had been used to. The 2 or 3 years, 4 or 5 years, they say they supposed to last for up to 5 years, but I mean, I guess you can keep them in for as long as you want. But if I ever cut those off, I would not like it. And when my hair got longer, you just see all this scalp, and I didn't like that. So I decided to take the lock extension off and comb. I had maybe about this length or longer of locked hair of my own, so I still had to go through a massive 2-week comb out of my hair. I still lost a lot of my own shed hair that was locking, and I still had to clip my ends because they were damaged because of all the combing and all of that. So but I did still have a good amount of hair to work with, as you can see, at least to start my new locks. At least I didn't have to shave my head. So what can I say now? I started doing research on what I wanted my locks to be like, because I told myself that if I ever don't want my locks, I'm cutting them off. I am not combing them out again. When you comb out your locks, it is very time consuming. I didn't twist my hair before, but dirt would just accumulate in my hair because I didn't know about keeping your locks bedded free, washing them more frequently than usual. It was just, my hair was dirty. I had just all this dirt all over my hands from combing these locks out. I'll show you a picture of when I combed out my locks. It looked very nice, but maybe after the first month I realized that my ends were damaged, so I had to clip some ends off because it wasn't working anymore. And then I just realized that my hair was so much work. I don't know why I thought that I was going to miss my loose natural hair so much. I love my loose natural hair, but I just don't have that time. The excitement of having my afro out is just over now that I have switched over to the lock side, being basically lazy with my hair for so long, other than having to wash it, an occasional braid out or a pipe cleaner curls. I don't have to detangle my hair, retwist my hair every night, bantu knot it every night. I don't want to do that. Then have to get up extra early in the morning to make sure it looks right, and I don't want to do that. Okay, my locks were so much easier, and I was so grateful to them, and I miss them so much. I put them back in. So I started doing research on how small I wanted my locks to be. I started looking at a lot of Instagram lock pages and seeing how I wanted my locks to be. So that's what I did. I planned out. So basically, I looked at parting. This time I looked at how many locks I wanted to have, the fullness I wanted to have. If you have thin, fine hair, in my opinion, smaller locks look better. If you're going to get bigger locks, know that your hair will not look full. It will look as thin as it did before you got locks. Now, don't get me wrong, my hair did not look thin when I was a loose natural because I had a bush. But when I used to wear relaxed hair, my hair was thin. And it will always be thin. That's just the hair type, thin, fine. That's just my hair type. So I'm trying to work with it, not against it. So in my opinion, smaller locks will make your hair look fuller because you have a lot of them. If literally before, I would have this whole thing was a lock when I had my thicker locks. This whole thing was a lock, and guess what? It was not that thick. It was maybe about the width of that. And for this big part, and I only have this much of a thick lock, that's not, I literally had one lock on this side, and that did not work for me. I loved them when I styled them and I put them up, but when I wore them down, it just was not good. So I started looking at different ladies, and I started to see that maybe I need to try smaller locks and see if that will work for me. In another video, I'll go more into depth about my research and my parting size and why I chose this size of locks, but I just wanted to say that think about your hair type before choosing what kind of locks you want. If you want 50, I've seen people with 50 to 60 to 75 to 80 locks that look gorgeous, but everyone that I see says that they have already had thick hair before they started, and that if they got thinner locks, it would just look like a mop, which I totally agree with. But because my hair is not thick, my hair does not look like a mop. It just looks fuller. If I got thicker locks, it would look empty. I would have a lot of parts shown. When I put my hair in a ponytail, because I just did a retwist last week, you can see parts, but not that much. Not as if I don't have any hair. Okay, I'm probably going to put out another video about my parting size, but that's all I wanted to discuss today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.